many people have never heard of Irving Berlin? Right, no, everybody's heard of Irving. Before we start the show, I want to give you, to tell you a little bit about Irving Berlin's life. He was born in Russia on May 11, 1888, to a father who was a cantor, and he learned his love of music from that father. It wasn't a really good time for Jews to be in Russia in 1888, but they held out until 1893 when his father decided he needed to take the family to America. So they traveled somehow across Russia, across Western Europe, and then across the Atlantic Ocean, and they wound up in New York City. And when they got off the ship, they went to the Lower East Side, and they found themselves a basement apartment with no windows for a family of 9. It still wasn't very good, but they were in the Golden Land. In 1901, Irving's father passed away, leaving his wife with 7 children. So Irving, at the age of 13, knew that he was finished with his formal education. But carrying this love of music in his heart, he knew that the only thing he wanted to do was to write songs. And so that's what he did. He never learned to read or write music, but he could hear music all the time in his head. During his 60-year career, he wrote an estimated 1,500 songs, 19 Broadway musicals, and 18 Hollywood films. His first really big hit was Alexander's Ragtime Band in 1911 at the age of 23. Sit back, enjoy the music. I promise you we are not doing all 1,500 of the songs. And I'll be back around mid-show to give you some more facts. In the meantime, enjoy the music.
the island of Martinique. The can-can she dances will make you fry. The can-can is really the reason why. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Temperatures rising, it isn't surprising. She certainly can. She started a heat wave by making her secret in such a way that customers say she certainly can. It's so hot.
How hot is it, baby?
It's so hot that a cold wife feels like a warm bride. It's so hot.
Everybody asked her, how
It's a lovely day today. So whatever you've got to do, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two. For I'd really like to stay. It's a lovely day today. And whatever you've got to do, I hope it's something that can be done by two. For I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if it's something that can be done by one, and you can't do it, and that's by one, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. It's a lovely day today.
It's a lovely day today, and whatever I've got to do, I've got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. But perhaps whatever I've got to do is something that could be done by two. If it is, then you could stay. It's a lovely day today, but you're probably busy too. So I suppose there's really nothing we can do. But for if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying, it's a lovely day.
It's a lovely day today, and whatever we've got to do, we've got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I know whatever we've got to do is something that can be done by two. So there's nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying, it's a lovely day. One
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Before the fiddlers have fled, before they ask us to pay the bill, and soon we will have romance. Let's face the music and dance. Soon there'll be another moon, hymning another tune, and then there may be teardrops to shed. But while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Soon there'll be another moon, humming a different tune, and then there may be teardrops to shed. So while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance, dance. Let's face the music and dance. One good way to get to know about somebody is to hear the things that he thinks or thought. So I've found some quotes from Irving Berlin, and I want to share them with you. The toughest thing about success is that you've got to keep on being a success. Talent is only a starting point in this business. You've got to keep on working that talent. He also said, you can't write a song out of thin air. You have to feel and know what you are writing about. Our attitudes, he said, control our lives. Attitudes are a secret power working 24 hours a day for good and bad. It is of paramount importance that we know how to harness and control this force. He once told his daughter, I gave up trying to get your mother to economize. It was easier just to make more money. About his lifelong friend, Fred Astaire, he said, "Fred knew the value of a song, and his heart was in it before his feet took over." And finally, he said, "Everybody ought to have a Lower East Side in their life." Another way to learn about a person is to hear what his contemporaries have to say about him. So I have a few quotes from them. "I don't know anyone who sits down to write a hit song except Irving Berlin. He can't help writing hits." Cole Porter. "If a man in a lifetime of 50 years can point to 6 songs that are immediately identifiable, he has achieved something. Irving Berlin can sing 60 that are immediately identifiable. Somebody once said you couldn't have a holiday without his permission." Sammy Kahn. In May 1988, at Irving Berlin's 100th birthday celebration, the violin virtuoso Isaac Stern, referring to Alexander's Ragtime Band, said, "With one song, the career of Irving Berlin and American music were intertwined forever. American music was born at his piano." One of Mr. Berlin's biographers, Lawrence Bergreen, said, "Irving Berlin's melodies are intertwined with our deepest personal and communal experiences, our holiday memories, our national crises, and our personal watersheds of love lost and love found. At bottom, Berlin was a musical man of the people. He drew his inspiration from what he called the mob, taking his ideas from ordinary people and setting what they felt and believed to music." And Jerome Kern said, "Irving Berlin has no place in American music. He is American music."
When you are far away in my sleep at night. And what's more, I've lost my appetite. Stars that used to twinkle in the skies are twinkling in my eyes. I wonder why.
You don't need analyzing.
I don't.
It is not so surprising.
It's not.
And you feel very strange, but nice. Your heart goes pitter-patter. I know just what's the matter.
You do?
Because I've been there once or twice. Put your head on my shoulder. You need someone who's older. Down with a velvet glove.
Oh, that sounds nice.
There's nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love.
I need there's no one
Not
there.
so surprising.
I smell blossoms, but the trees are bare. All day long I seem to walk on air.
What's
I
the matter?
wonder why.
Because I've been there once or
Wonder
twice.
I keep tossing in my sleep
You need
at night.
someone who's older.
And what's more, I've lost my appetite. Stars
There's
that
nothing you
used
can
to twinkle
to
into the
relieve that
sky
pleasant
are twinkling in
You're
my
not
eyes.
sick, you're
I'm
just
in love.
I'll be loving you always with a love that's true, always. When the things you planned need a helping hand, I will understand. Always, always. Things may not be fair. That's when I'll be there, always. Not for just an hour, not for just a day, not for just a year, but always. No, not for just an hour, not for just a day. Not for just a year, but always.
my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. And it seems to be the happiness I see when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and the cares that hang around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak. When we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I'd love to climb the mountain, reach the highest peak, but it doesn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Dance with me, I want your arms around me. Those charms about me will carry me to heaven. I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. And I know that is the happiness I seek when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek. I just asked you.
I want my arms around you. Those charms about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and I'm so in love I can hardly speak. And I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
Dancing cheek to cheek, dancing cheek to cheek, dancing cheek to cheek.
When the U.S. declared war on Japan on December 7th, 1941, Mr. Berlin immediately began composing patriotic songs. His most notable and valuable contribution to the war effort was a musical called "This Is the Army." It opened on Broadway on July 4th, 1942. From Broadway, it went to Washington, where President Roosevelt watched a performance at the National Theater. From Washington, it toured the country, and from there around the world with a cast of 300 men. In 1943, Hollywood made a movie version of This Is the Army. The musical and the movie earned over $15 million for the Army Emergency Fund. Irving Berlin's patriotism and generosity knew no bounds. We salute Mr. Berlin with two songs from This Is the Army.
A bunch of frightened rookies were listening, filled with awe. They listened as their sergeant was laying down the law. They stood there at attention, their faces turning red. The sergeant looked them over, and this is what he said. This is the Army, Mr. Jones. No private rooms or telephones. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the Army, Mr. Green. We like the barracks nice and clean. You had a housemaid to clean your floors, but you won't have her help anymore. Do what the buglers command. They're in the Army and not in a band. Oh, this is the Army, Mr. Brown.
You and your baby went to town. She had you worried, but this is war, and she won't worry you anymore. Oh, this is the army, Mr. Collin. No private rooms or telephones. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore.
Life is simply wonderful. The army food is great. I sleep with 97 others in a wooden hut. I love them all, and they all love me. It's very lovely blood. Oh, how I hate to get up in the morning. Oh, how I'd love to remain in bed. But the hardest goal of all is to hear the bugle call. You gotta get up, you gotta get up, you gotta get up in the morning. Someday I'm gonna murder the bugler. Someday they're gonna find him dead. I'll have to take his reveille and stare up on it heavily and spend the rest of my life in bed. If death will get that out of the buck, the guy who wakes the bugler up and spend the rest of my life in bed.
The costumes, the scenery, the makeup, the sets, the audience that lifts you when you're down.
The headaches, the heartaches, the backaches, the flops, the sheriff who escorts you out of town. The opening when the heart beats like a drum. The closing when the customers don't come.